Hey folks, in this video we're going to talk about step one in our van build process, and that was installing swivel seats. Now, in addition to installing swivels, we found out very early on our very first trip that we were going to have to lower the height because I'm 5'8", Nita's 5'4".
I used to be 5'5".
And the seats were just way too high to be comfortable. So swivel, lower the seat height. That's what we did. Here's how we did it. Now, we found out that RAM does make OEM swivel seats with lower risers, but the price was absolutely exorbitant. So we researched the various aftermarket swivels and we decided on the CTA swivels, which we purchased from Amazon for $327 each. And I'll put a link to those in the description below. The CTA swivels add about 2 inches to the height, and our risers were too high already, so we definitely needed the lower risers, which I found as a part online from a dealer in North Carolina, Steve White Motors, for $233 each, and I'll put a link to that in the description below as well. The new risers are about 4 inches lower, so with the swivels installed, the new seats would actually be 2 inches lower than the original factory seats. And here are a few shots of the original and the new OEM risers side by side. Now, we realized we were going to have two problems that we had to deal with. And problem one was the fact that while the CTA swivel matched the seat perfectly, it did not match the holes or the width of the new riser. So the solution we came up with was to create this transitional steel plate between the riser and the swivel. And here's how we did it. Our first step was to make a plywood template, not cardboard, because I wanted to bolt the whole assembly together for testing. So we cut the plywood to the exact size of the swivel, placed it on the riser with the swivel on top exactly as it would end up, and we marked the location of the bolt holes in the riser and the swivel and then drilled them out. I also cut out the center for the seat wiring and access to under the seats. And my beautiful wife Nita then took the template to a shop we worked out of and replicated it in 3/16 inch steel with a CNC plasma cutter, which we painted gloss black. Now, this is definitely not for amateurs, but if you want to go this same route, all you have to do is make this plywood template and take it to a local welding shop and they'll be able to do it for you, I'm sure. And here's the steel plate in place on the riser with the swivel on top. We used stainless steel bolts and painted them black to match. And here's the assembly installed on the passenger side. And you can see it's a good bit lower than the driver's seat, which hasn't been modified yet in this photo. Here it is with the seat installed, and you can see why the center of the transition plate is cut out to access the wiring and floor below. Since the new risers are longer than the swivels and the original seat base, there's a little bit of a lip on the back of the transition plate as seen here. The second problem we were going to have to deal with was the position of the handbrake. The lowered base is thinner than the seat was, so bolting the handbrake to this riser was going to make the handbrake inoperable. Not only that, it would not allow the seat to swivel. So the solution was to create this wedge out of hard rock maple, which I painted black, and run bolts through the maple and through the holes in the riser, which kicks the handbrake out, allowing it to be operable, and also allows the seat to swivel without hitting the handbrake. And that works out pretty well. And here's the final installation of both seats turned around. Now, unlike a Sprinter or Transit, the ProMaster is front-wheel drive, so the floor of the cargo area is lower than the floor of the cab. And you can see here how your feet would dangle if left like this. So the solution was to build a prototype platform to rest your feet on, which in the final build became an awesome place to store our shoes and Charlie's belongings like his leash and his dog food. And we'll talk more about this platform in the video on floor installation. Now, we did find an alternate method for installing swivel seats in the ProMaster using the same CTA swivel. And I'm going to put a link in the description to this YouTube video by WanderingWakes showing how he used the same swivel with a different third-party riser that he bought at eurocampers.com. But as I said, we didn't choose to go this route because the Eurocampers webpage shows that these bases are 9 inches high, and the ones I got from Steve White Motors is a little less than 7 inches, so that my final assembly, including the transition plate, is just 9 inches total. Even so, there's still some really good information in WanderingWakes video that applies to both installs, so I suggest you watch this video before you start your own install. So that's it for our swivel seat video. In the next video, we're going to talk about step 2 of our build process, which was window selection and installation. In the meantime, if you have any questions, you have any comments, please leave them in the comment box below. I do reply to all of them. And if you'd like to follow us and watch the rest of our build videos or any of our travel videos, please consider subscribing to the channel. So that's it. We'll see you on the road.
We'll see you on the road.